Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile video. In this one, I'm going to talk about Law of the Wilds. The Wolf Summoner build. It's a current work in progress. We are running this project right now with a super low budget version. As you can see in the gameplay footage we've been showing on stream now during the day. And when I say low budget, I mean like super low. We have a 5-link chess piece I found on day 1 of the league. We're running a absolute dog trash. I mean, a ring, sorry. Plus 1 level of minion skills. Now, sure, it's fracture, but whatever. Like, this is bad. We have an Ungil's Harmony. We have a Hungry Loop. We have a shield with really bad resistances and minion damage. We have a bad rolled, or actually mediocre rolled, the Darkness Enthroned, with jewels that is there to help us get stats and resistances when needed. 4-grain Triad. We have a generic pair of boots, and it doesn't even have quality, actually. We're supposed to have armor to help us with mitigation. We have a Roomies and generic blue flask, and if I pop all the flasks, I end up on 19,000 armor, not even that. So we are very squishy. It's a really bad build. So, gem-wise, we're running making Belly Splash. Doesn't cost much. Use normal Belly Splash. You switch that from multi-strike for single targets. And we have that with Melee Fist, minion damage. We're running Feeding Frenzy, Bone Chill, Stone Golem with Cutting Strike, Determination, Defiance Banner, and Haste. Static Strike for the trigger, which I'll explain in a bit. In the green, we have Warding Blades, Fast Attacks. We also have Precision and Dash. A little bit of a note about that. I'll explain that in a bit. Frostbite, Curse, Spirit Offering, Arcane's Brand, and Desecrate. And in the links here, I have a Convocation. We have Meat Shield, Elemental Army with Minion Life together for our Spectres and Animate Guardian. That's it. It's a very straightforward, simple build. So how does this work? Well, Law of the Wilds has a 20% chance for us to trigger a level 25 Spectral Wolf when we crit with the weapon. Therefore, we want to have high critical strike chance, and we want to hit very fast. And I'd rather not have Cyclones spinning around on enemies. I'd rather also not have to click my button to attack all the time. Lancing, Steel, or Spraying is great for this. That cannot be used with a Claw. Static Strike is the next option, which allows us to have a duration set for these beams, allowing us to consistently have these beams up and shooting for 5.5 seconds after attacking. That will shoot a bunch of beams that will chain, and every time we crit, we have a chance to summon our wolves up to 10 wolves. Critical strike chance right now with this build is, let's see if I can find it. Offense. Hit chance, 94% chance, and critical strike chance is 66%. So that's how we run it. It's very simple. We were playing in a very low budget build. We had super low level gems, and we were able to do without quality the Endgame Void Stone bosses, not a problem. And again, if we had like armor or something on these pieces, we would have much better defenses. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So the build works this way. You will attack enemies, and your beams will shoot out and hit enemies. And every time you crit, there's a 20% chance that you summon a wolf up to 10 wolves, and then they will refresh the duration. These wolves will do a stupid amount of damage, and the Tri-Grip will convert all of their fist damage into cold, which we're then scaling through the elemental relics from the Guardian, which is coming from the Unwavering Crusade. We're also running Radiant Crusade for layers of defense and a minion that will taunt enemies and do extra damage. We have Bastion of Hope for attack and spell block, and Time and Need for extra sustain. Outside of that, the tree is very simple. We're going to leave a POB link in the descriptions down below. Keep in mind, that's not a build guide. It is currently being written at the time of this recording. And we have a lot of investments into minion defenses, including the Indomitable Army, because we're not scaling level of gems because you can't scale the wolves. So we only do that for the sake of the Spectres. Spectres, I'm running a Primal Crush Claw, a Warcaller, and a Spectral Leader for the action speed. Now, the Spectral Leader is a bit squishy. You could replace him with an Arena Master if you want, if you're having issues keeping him alive. Other than that, the setup from Hungry Loop will require critical strike chance, life gain on hit, additional accuracy, very important, and the increased duration for quality of life. They have to be leveled to 19 and about to be level 20, then socketed in here when you level them up down here to make the ring consume the gem. So to make that happen, you'll have to level them up. So before you get to that point, when you start playing a build like this, you'll just skip the enemy guardian inspectors and have your static strike set up in your chest piece till they're leveled enough to do this. The little extra detail on dash, this build is so far doing really well in super low budget. And so there's two things to keep in mind. One, the POB DPS is much lower than the DPS you'll be doing in reality. You'll have much better damage outputs than it actually shows. The other problem is dash, which makes it a problem to do Maven specifically. You might want to remove dash and potentially skip something like Meat Shield or skip Elemental Army in your support gems here and run Frost Blink instead, because dash does not allow you to jump past Maven's beams. Pretty fucking annoying, but just keep that in mind. And Whirling Blaze does the same. You will actually get hit by the beam when you do this through the beam. So therefore, it is actually better to just replace that with Frostblink for that fight specifically. So Maven is the only fight that's annoying to do with this build. Other than that, we've been grinding out tier 16 maps with relative ease, despite the squishiness of the low budget we're running. Today on stream at the time of this recording, I'll be looking into a medium budget version and probably finish that the day after. The high budget version is currently also being worked on. We believe that the first initial high budget will run something like Replica Restless, Ralakesh Boots, Devouring Helmet, Call of the Brotherhood, Squire, and Tides of Time setup for the sustain, because you want to move a lot of your defenses onto your flasks instead. And the super high budget would run Mage Blood. In the low budget version, and very likely medium, Chaos Rest becomes rather important later in the gearing. I don't have that with this build, which is the main culprit of me dying right now, that and armor. We'll probably run Fourth Vow or Divine Flesh for medium budget. We'll take a look at it. But since we can't move a lot of our defenses on our flask, that means we have to cover attribute and resistances on our gear. And that can be a bit tough to do. That's why we have jewels that gives us attributes or resistances on every single slot. So we have some of those pieces here is actually giving us defensive layers as well. Taunt, Blind, in this case we have Strength, and this here we have resistances to help alleviate that pressure. So that's basically how the build works and how it functions. So far it's performing really well. I'll keep playtesting this, and we'll be working on a build that's going to be available on the guide hub, which is linked in the description below. So make sure you check that out. Let me know in the comments what you think of the builds, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe, keep rocking, and just hit the fucking sub button. I know you didn't do it. Just click it. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.